The Galactic Council had seen many species rise and fall across the millennia. They had witnessed civilizations that mastered antimatter in their Bronze Age, beings who could bend spacetime with their thoughts, and empires that spanned entire galactic clusters. But nothing, absolutely nothing, had prepared them for humanity. It started as it always did, with conquest. The Zephyrian hegemony, a coalition of 12 advanced species, had set their sights on the small blue planet in the outer rim of the Milky Way. The inhabitants called it Earth, and according to their scouts, they had barely achieved faster than light travel. Primitive, insignificant, easy prey. Admiral Cathara of the Hegemony Fleet felt almost guilty as she gazed at the planet through her command deck's viewing screen. Her armada of 3,000 warships hung in space like predatory birds, each vessel capable of glassing an entire continent. The humans had sent exactly 47 ships to meet them, small, crude things that looked like they were held together with hope and desperation. "Open a channel," Cathara commanded, her forearms working the console with practiced efficiency. "Let's make this quick." The human commander who appeared on screen was unremarkable by galactic standards. Bipedal, soft-skinned, with only 2 eyes and a disturbingly symmetrical face. But there was something in those eyes that made Cathara's secondary heart skip a beat. "I am Admiral Sarah Chen of the United Earth Defense Force," the human said, her voice carrying an odd mix of weariness and steel. "I assume you're here for our planet." "Indeed. I am Admiral Cathara of the Zephyrian Hegemony. Surrender now and your species will be granted slave status under our protection. Resist and face extinction." Admiral Chen smiled, a peculiar expression that somehow managed to be both sad and terrifying. "Before we begin, Admiral, would you mind if we played something? Consider it a final request." Cathara's translator struggled with the human concept of final request, but the meaning was clear enough. "Very well. Make it brief. Thank you. This is Earth's battle record. Every major conflict from our recorded history compressed into a 12-hour data stream. We thought the galaxy should know what it's getting into." The transmission began. At first, Cathara was unimpressed. Primitive humans with sticks and stones, fighting over territories smaller than her flagship's landing bay. But then came the Bronze Age, and she watched humans develop weapons specifically designed to kill other humans more efficiently. The Iron Age brought formations and tactics that would have impressed the war colleges of Proxima Centauri. The Roman legions marched across her screen, conquering most of their known world with nothing but discipline, engineering, and an unbreakable will to victory. The Mongol hordes swept across continents, adapting and improving with each battle. Medieval knights charged into certain death for concepts like honor and duty, words that didn't translate well into most galactic languages. But it was the modern era that made Cathara's blood run cold. Humans had turned war into a science. They developed weapons capable of destroying their own planet multiple times over, then had the restraint not to use them. They fought in conditions that would kill most galactic species. Underwater, in Arctic wastelands, in the vacuum of space. They created artificial intelligences to help them fight more efficiently, then worried about the ethical implications. The world wars played out in devastating detail. Millions of humans dying for abstract concepts like freedom and democracy. Soldiers charging machine gun nests knowing they wouldn't survive. Pilots ramming their aircraft into enemy ships. Entire cities choosing death over surrender. By the 8th hour, half of Cathara's bridge crew had excused themselves. The humans hadn't just fought each other. They had fought disease, natural disasters, economic collapse, and the vastness of space itself. Every time civilization crumbled, they rebuilt it stronger. Every time they faced extinction, they found a way to survive. The most disturbing part wasn't their capacity for violence. Many species were violent. It was their capacity for sacrifice. Humans would die for strangers. They would give up their lives for future generations they would never meet. They would fight hopeless battles simply because the alternative was surrender. "Sir," her communications officer whispered, all 4 of her eyes wide with terror. "The other admirals are requesting permission to withdraw their fleets." Cathara looked at the tactical display. The human fleet hadn't moved. They were still outnumbered 60 to 1. By all logical calculations, they should have been annihilated within minutes. But logic, she was beginning to realize, didn't apply to humans. The final segments of the battle record showed humanity's recent expansion into space. They had turned asteroids into weapons, built ships that could ram through shields with kinetic force alone, and developed a disturbing tendency to rig everything to explode if capture seemed imminent. When the transmission ended, the void of space felt somehow heavier. Admiral Chen reappeared on screen, and Kethara noticed that the human had used the 12 hours to somehow multiply her fleet. What had been 47 ships was now several hundred, all broadcasting the same simple message. "Admiral," Chen said, her voice carrying the weight of 10,000 years of human warfare, "you came here expecting to fight primitives, but we've been fighting each other since we learned to make fire. We've had wars that lasted 30 years, conflicts that spanned entire continents, and battles where the casualties were measured in millions. We've survived ice ages, plagues, meteor impacts, and our own nuclear weapons." She paused, and Kethara saw something in those human eyes that made her species' most ancient legends of death gods seem tame. "The question isn't whether you can defeat us, Admiral. The question is, how many of your people are you willing to sacrifice to find out?" The silence stretched across the gulf of space like a held breath. Finally, Kethara spoke into her fleet-wide communication array. "All ships, stand down. Prepare to withdraw." Her second-in-command stared at her in disbelief. "Admiral, we outnumber them. We outnumber them," Kethara agreed. "But they've been outnumbered before. They've been outgunned, outsupplied, and outmaneuvered. It never seems to matter." Within 6 standard hours, the Galactic Council had received the surrender treaty. Not humanity's surrender, the galaxy's. The document was simple and direct, written in 12 languages and sealed with the endorsement of every major galactic power. It read, "The galactic community hereby recognizes the Sol system as a sovereign territory under the protection of humanity. Furthermore, all member species agree that the strategic value of any potential conflict with humanity is significantly outweighed by the projected casualties. We choose peace." Admiral Chen signed it last, adding a handwritten note that would become legend. "Thank you for listening. We look forward to friendship instead of war." The human fleet returned to Earth orbit, and the galaxy learned a new word, deterrent. And somewhere in the vast archives of the Galactic Council, Earth's battle record played on loop, a 12-hour reminder of why some species are better left alone.